Jostle Corporation. And I am here today with Kate Kerr and Caitlin Brown from DDRC. That is the Developmental Disabilities and Resource Center, because they recently won an IABC Gold Quill Award for internal communications using Jostle. And not only are we proud of being part of that, we think that their story is important and inspirational for other people trying to solve their internal communications challenges as well. So, Caitlin, why don't you introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about what you do at DDRC?
Sure. Well, as you mentioned, I'm Kate Kerr, and I'm the Director of Communications and Development here at the agency. So I oversee all of our public relations, our internal relations, our fundraising, community development, and client customer service.
And my name is Caitlin Brown. I am a Senior Communications and Development Coordinator. So I work directly with Kate on most of the things that she mentioned, internal, external communications, agency events, community development, anything that falls under those umbrellas.
Excellent. So tell me, what motivated you? What were the sort of challenges and opportunities you were looking to pursue when you were looking for a new internal communication solution?
Sure. Well, one of the major things for our agency is our mobile workforce. About 75% of our workforce is frontline, and they're working across the city of Calgary, different locations every day, supporting our clients. So it was really important for us to have a system they could access on the go from their smartphones, and that could be updated quickly and easily, so that we didn't have to go through sort of, one person having the ability to update the intranet. We could proceed in a much more timely fashion and reach those employees. First and foremost, that was our main motivation.
What kind of things do you need to be in communications with those folks about?
Oh, everything. It could be as sort of fun and lighthearted as an agency event coming up where we want them to attend, but certainly, lots of serious things as well. Sometimes if we have a client who hasn't arrived for services scheduled, we want to let those people know as soon as possible that we are looking for the client. We want to find them and make sure they're where they're supposed to be. Also, we used Jostle extensively last summer, June 2013, when Calgary was flooded. Caitlin can talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, well, I guess with the flood especially, it was just getting information out to all of our employees for them to share again with clients about what the agency will be doing, what services will still be being offered, and just making sure that everyone's safe, making sure that everyone has the information that the city's putting out, as well as agency-specific ideas, practices. But mostly it was just about ensuring safety for all of our employees and all of our clients.
Excellent. So how hard or easy was it for you to roll out your new solution with Jostle? What were the challenges that came up? How did you get past them?
Okay, that's a big question. Well, Jostle itself was actually really easy to implement. We definitely worked with the IT group on the initial implementation, so the system part was very easy. Our biggest challenge was working with our, again, largely mobile audience that doesn't have a really high level of tech sophistication, to the point where for some of our staff it was difficult to activate their Jostle account. So that was something that IT developed sort of a form letter response to, because they were seeing the same sort of errors again and again. So we were able to develop a process to respond to that. I would say the biggest challenge was getting the initial account activation. Again, from staff that aren't in the building, that don't have a lot of contact with the main office. That was our biggest challenge.
And what kind of results and successes what are you able to do now that you just could never do before?
Well, I think the biggest thing is just that timely sharing of information. I mean, we're able to respond pretty much right away. The other day, we published an article about the measles outbreak in Calgary. So, we have a client being supported who is working at a location where measles was identified. So we wanted to respond really quickly. So as soon as we found that out, we were able to put out a story to all of our staff saying, here are the clinics that Alberta Health Services is offering. Here are our protocols in case you are supporting a client who has been exposed to measles, or if you've been exposed to measles. So that was just another example of being able to put something out in a really timely fashion that we would not.
An email.
Mm-hmm. I think also something that I've noticed is just the amount of engagement that other employees can have with Jostle that we didn't have with the previous intranet. So even just like shout outs and status updates have been really popular here, and that's been really nice to see a number of different employees very publicly engaging on the internet, recognizing one another, and really participating in kind of just general agency functions in that way. And likes and anything like that. It's nice to see.
Excellent. So what does this award mean for you and for your company?
Well, it's always nice to be recognized, and certainly to get a Gold Quill Award. It's one of those ways that you can prove to your boss that communications work does matter, and it is important and has measurable results. So for us, it's great because we are a nonprofit, to justify our budget and to sometimes ask for a couple things that could be added to our budget. So for example, we requested a new video camera for this year, which was a pretty big win for us, and has made a difference in the materials we're able to produce, which furthers the agency's mission. So for us, it's one of those things where we get the recognition. We feel like we are competing on a global stage with other much bigger, much more funded organizations and businesses, but we're still developing quality communications work that we're rolling out.
So you were able to provide a very high level, top tier level of internal communications on a much smaller budget, much smaller resources than some of the other international organizations you're competing with, really.
Yep.
How huge is that?
It sounds really simple, but that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Bravo.
Thanks.
So what are your hopes and plans for the future of your internal communications program, and how Jostle might be able to contribute to that?
Well, one of the things that we've talked a lot about is building engagement even more. We have a lot of people who are reporters, and we're sort of growing that base all the time. We have tied Jostle posting or article posting in with our internal rewards currency program. So at various tiers of the number of articles that staff have posted, they get rewarded with our internal currency, which they can then cash in for prizes of their choice. So we want to continue to have different voices in the discussion, so it's not everything coming from communications all the time. We do have other people participating, and certainly we see the response, we see the comments and the likes increase when we have that diversity of voice and engagement.
Absolutely. I think one of the nice things that we share is we have reporters throughout the building who share the successes of their own teams and departments on Jostle, and it's been really nice for me. It's like just seeing what other people are doing and how our clients are succeeding and reaching their goals. And I think that that's something that Jostle has really offered us, is the ability to have, like Kate said, multiple voices, sharing kind of department or team specific successes, and they're available to everyone. So.
Any advice for internal communications programs elsewhere?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, we really like working with Jostle. Everyone at Jostle Corporation has been very supportive of all of the efforts that we've done. Providing T-shirts when we initially rolled out the platform here, which we used, and we went on road shows to every one of our teams on location in the city. Being really into all that we were doing and wanting to know how you could be more accommodating or help, or that's been really nice. You don't typically get that with sort of like a vendor, right, in that kind of a relationship, so that's nice. I think that I would say sometimes you just need to take a risk. We definitely took a risk moving from a traditional intranet to the Jostle platform, but it's very intuitive, it's very user friendly. Our CEO jostles. So I think I would just say part of it is taking that risk and going for a bit of the unknown that way. What would you say?
I guess one thing that Kate kind of mentioned that we did that I thought paid off is kind of taking the time to invest in teaching your employees how to use it. We traveled around the city to our different teams as they were having meetings and did an introduction to Jostle, ran through kind of how it works, what it is, what's available. And I think that is important and helpful, and we're still continually doing that with all new employees who come in, we introduce. Jocelyn orientation. And I think that depending on your workforce, not everyone who works at the DDRC would naturally just go on to Jocelyn, really kind of find it as intuitive as some other people, just based on, experience with technology or a number of different things. And so I think it is worth investing initially in that introduction and in a little bit of almost training and building up excitement and continually just offering that support. Because, we've found that Jocelyn has been a great tool, but it's definitely important that people are comfortable with it and know how to use it. And once you have that, then you can really do a lot with it.
Yeah.
Well, I have to say, I really am proud to be supporting your efforts in the field. I'm delighted that you were able to be recognized for your success, and I really appreciate your time in sharing some of your insights with others who might be in a similar situation. Any closing remarks?
I don't know, I guess I would just say it sounds a bit cliche, but we've had a lot of fun with our Jostle rollout and with our ongoing engagement with the platform and with our employees. So I would say that's probably a critical element, right? We try and position it as not strictly work, but as a bit of fun. We post lighter articles on Fridays, things like that, right? We do contests and polls, and so it's just trying to find that work entertainment balance in the platform. So that would just be a final tip. Try and keep it a bit more light so it's a bit more engaging.
Outstanding. Thank you very, very much.
Thanks, Steph.
Great. Thank you.